Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Academy Review / Loan Watch.
Loan Watch special.
Loan Watch special. Oh, it's
special.
Well,
It's
do you know
special.
what? Do you know what, baggers?
Go on.
Soon to be birthday boy. You are a
Soon to be
special
birthday.
little soldier. So we'll call it the special video just for you. Joining me, I was going to say as usual, but no, for the third time instead of David Pritt is Alex Baggers. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
We're over the weekend now. We're talking about the academy stuff. It's all a bit happier. It's all a bit better. No one's losing their heads.
Forget about the FA Cup. It's all about the under-18s, the under-23s.
And our youth players that are actually good at football.
Yeah.
All them lads.
All them ones on a more positive vibe.
Yeah.
What we're starting with? We're starting with the under-18s.
Just have a quick look at some of the results. So Manchester United beat Everton 2-0 at the weekend.
Sweet.
Forson and Fish were the scorers. And as you can see there, that puts United's under-18s top of the league, 2 points ahead of Manchester City and 6 points ahead of Liverpool.
Mate, why can't that be the Premier League table? Look at that, eh? Top of the league, City and
Leeds
the Scousers. Leeds bottom. Do you know what?
Brilliant.
Doesn't get much better than that, does it? You're above the Scousers and City, and Leeds are bottom. Under Sunderland, absolutely pathetic. But no, we love to see it. So under-18s doing well.
They do that. And also, their next game for the under-18s is they are playing Liverpool in the Youth Cup on the 3rd of April. So that's the main thing for the under-18s. The league is just keep you fit kind of thing, but the Youth Cup is what they're all striving to win. That's the class of '92 kind of stuff. That's what they want to do, isn't it?
You're right. Youth Cup. That's your bread and butter, as they say.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a difference between what goes on in the first team, where the cup competitions are insignificant. It's United, depending on your point of view, there, all they're going to results are. And your league's more important, but yeah, like you say, the Youth Cup is one of the most important sort of games or the most important competition for the youngsters, and obviously doing well. You know, as you can see, the table doesn't lie, as you say. I'm going to get the old cliches out. Yeah. We know that we've got a lot of youngsters as well who are playing at we've got 16 and 17-year-olds who are playing alongside sort of 18-year-olds. Yeah. So we've got quite a young under-18 side who's obviously doing well.
And we also have, not quite as doing as well. The under-23s, they lost this week 3-0 to Spurs. Ethan Galbraith got sent off as well. So not the best of results.
Do you know what? The thing is as well, Ethan Galbraith, Dave Pritt loves him. Howson loves him as well. Howson was mentioning him the other day when we were doing one of our podcasts. And he's been there's been a little bit of rumblings growing that he could be the man to come into this midfield. And maybe, with the problems we've got, he could be the answer to that. I know Dave was crying out for him to get a chance in the Europa this season. I know he had one last season, didn't get it. It didn't happen, sorry. I think Dave actually wanted him in the Champions League as well. Didn't happen, and he's just got himself a red card. He's got a
red card, because Dave said as well, with everything that's gone on this last few weeks where we have had issues in midfield, I think that we've mentioned that he should come in anyway. He should be given a chance, at least on the bench, or maybe just come on and do a little bit, whether it be just in the Premier League, just throw him in there at the minute, because things aren't going very well. We are getting a couple of players back, but I think he fits them all, but obviously not a great performance of the week. That put them down to 6th in the league, as you can see there. Chelsea and Derby going ahead of them.
Still above the Scousers, though, so it's not all doom and gloom. That's how sad. Yes, I am that sad. Yes.
Above them in the under-18s, under-23s, and the Premier League. It's great, kind of.
And above Leicester as well. You can have your FA Cup win. Because where are you in the under-23 table? What? Where are they? 11th? Shambles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I really believe that
exactly.
as well. Yeah,
the next game, under-23s play on the 9th of April. They're playing West Ham, who you can see there.
Hello, is that West Ham? Oh.
Who are bottom of the league. So
it's a weird one, isn't it, the under-23s, because we say this almost every time we talk about it. Very varying degrees of sort of competitiveness, shall we say, in the levels you're getting, because we both have been to a few under-23 games, and they are useful, and it's great to see some of the youngsters getting a chance at a level that's a bit above, obviously, under-18s. But sometimes you do get the odd sort of friendly fixture games, don't you, where it doesn't feel that intense, it doesn't feel like the levels, and they're playing against certain players who aren't really going to trouble the Premier League.
The thing is, the players that are of that 20 to 23 level, the better ones are playing in the Premier League still, or on loan, or are playing, getting on the subs bench and stuff like that. The under-18s players drop back into under-18s for things like the Youth Cup. That takes priority over the under-23s league, the Premier League 2, whatever it is. That takes priority. So it's a bit of it's almost an in-between thing. The under-18s football at youth level has a bit more stature. There's a little bit there. And then the ones that are a little bit older that can't play in that, they're pushing on to play into the Premier League and things like that. So that's where it's a bit of a mixed bag. And it's a bit of luck of the draw when the fixtures kind of come out. Is someone in the squad for the Europa League? Is someone in the squad for an FA Cup game? Or are they in the squad for an FA Youth Cup game and can't play? So it's always a mixed bag what the squad they're putting out in the 23s. And whilst it's important, it's good. I believe this team got relegated a few seasons ago and has got themselves back up into this level.
It's been a very topsy-turvy time now.
So I think that it's a little bit of stability, but not threatening this league. And like I said, drop down to the 6th place. But they're back in action 9th of April.
I mean, obviously, you want to win games at this level, and it is about that. And I think as Manchester United, you should have an ethos that no matter whether you're playing for the under-18s, under-23s, whatever level, the kids, you know, you should always go out to win, and you should have that sort of mentality that we're at Manchester United, we're out to win. But a lot of it is just about keeping players fit, getting them games, you know, sort of like you say, the seeing the development through when they're 18, 19, obviously they're physically still developing. And in some cases, like you said, they're going into under-18s. They might be in and around the first team for certain games. They go to the 23s. We've seen it Brandon Williams, perfect example.
Yeah.
Brandon Williams, he's been in the United squad for first team squad. He's been in the 23s. You know, he's obviously come through the academy. So he's had a sort of almost a bit of a merry-go-round. But it keeps him fit, keeps him ticking over. And when he's needed for the first team squad, he comes in without having not kicked a ball for weeks or whatever.
Yeah, and then prime example of that, going back to the class of 92 thing, Giggs had been playing in the first team and came back to play the Youth Cup final. So that's the kind of not playing any reserve football, playing first team football, but then bypassing that to go back into the younger team. I think there's always that. The under 23s, it's a strange level.
I think we should start doing that with the Youth Cup again. I think stick Diallo and Greenwood and all them lot, but in it,
imagine.
Just.
You'd devastate, wouldn't you? You work your way up, you play Man United, it'd be all right today. Oh, they got Mason playing. Right, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
He scores in the
I've
FA
got
Cup.
a £37 million winger and he's just drafted in because he's still a kid. Yeah, I think we should do that. Let's win that FA Youth Cup. What else have you got for me, brother?
We're going to have a look now at some of our loan players that have gone out.
Got quite a few on loan, haven't we?
Quite a few. And we're going to start with Jimmy Garner, who has been playing some good stuff. I've seen some...
Look at him there with his Man of the Match trophy.
Look at him there. I've been through a couple of articles and tweets and stuff about him. There's people saying he's the next Busquets.
I love that.
Forest fans just being absolutely going mad about how good he is. He said he's not being there next year because he has to be back at Man United. But, you know, he had the start of this season. He started at Watford, played a lot of games there. As always happens at Watford, they changed the manager mid-December.
They always do that, don't they?
So
it's just ridiculous. I mean, I know everyone likes to sack the manager, but they do like 5 a season.
Yeah, so he went from playing a lot of football to not at all. United withdrew him straight away, 1st of January, come back to the club and then loaned him back out to Nottingham Forest. Since then, he's played 90 minutes 11 of the 12 times he's been available for. He's only played. Brilliant. So he's playing week in, week out.
What a lad.
This week, played against Brentford, man of the match with 83% pass accuracy, 18 final third passes, just absolutely bossed the game, ran the show. Lee Henry, who does all the commentary for a lot of the Championship games, said he's the best player on the pitch by far. Even in the first half, he's got on the ball, he's brave, dictated the play, his range of passing is world class. You know, even you look at the Championship level, and there's a lot of times when you go, do you know, it's obviously the step down and things like that. But you look at the players that have bossed it in the Championship the last few years. James Maddison came up and managed to replicate that in the Premier League. Jack Grealish, the same kind of things. Even maybe not to that extent, but Benrahma came up from Brentford last year, went to West Ham, and looks one of their more exciting players.
Yeah,
there's more of a crossover now. I think that there's a lot more. The gap's closer, and I think if you're playing very good football in the Championship, you're very close to playing good football in the Premier League. I think Jimmy Garner's saying that. Chris Hughton spoke about him after the game and said he was really good again today, has a lot of maturity for his age. It's a hard feat at that age, and not only here, but in the first half of the season where he played a lot of games. At this moment, it's great development for him, and you can only play like that you are and be in the team if you're good enough. And at this moment, we are delighted to have him. So Chris Hughton, loving him there. And we've mentioned midfield is definitely an issue for Man United. There's been talk about is that one of the places we need to strengthen, but we may have someone in Jimmy Garner. We've said it for the last few years that may come in and do that job in midfield.
You're just giggling because Cameron Waters off camera is sniffing his own armpits.
Yeah.
So this is what we're up against here, people. This is we suffer for our art. You make a good point there because with players coming through the Championship, we've seen it. Leeds kept a lot of their players that came through the Championship. Did Ollie Watkins come through the Championship?
I believe he was at Brentford.
Yeah, he was at Brentford, wasn't he? And he's obviously at the ground running. The thing with Jimmy Garner is he's always been the one that, when I talk about got to see it on 23s, he was the player that was singled out as the one to watch. Yeah. When we went, I took my kids there a couple of times, me and the missus and the kids went down to Leeds when obviously we were allowed to go, and he was the star of the show. One of the games we went to, he scored, and it was like, oh, he's the next Carrick that we're comparing him to, or I know he can be a bit more box-to-box than Michael Carrick was. We've got issues in midfield, as you mentioned. Fred's getting a lot of stick at the minute. There's no point in sugarcoating it. He is, and people sort of singling him out and saying he's not good enough if we want to go to the next level. Do you see Jimmy Garner perhaps being someone who can come into that role, or maybe as an understudy even if we do end up sort of keeping Fred?
I think we're going to have to look at it. I think if he keeps improving and shows that, but at the same time, we all want to see signings for Manchester United. We all want to see that, but we have to, we always keep saying on here, there's a very good chance that's not going to happen. We're not going to get the 4 or 5 superstars that we seem to think we're going to get, that we're going to need this summer. We're not going to go out and spend 75 million 5 times this summer.
No, we're not. We need to temper our expectations.
And, even if it is a slower process, if someone like Jimmy Garner can get into that team and do that job, I think that you've got to try him at some point. I think that one of the things is it's just proving yourself at fitness at that kind of level a lot of the time. He's doing that playing 90 minutes so far under Chris Hughton at Nottingham Forest. He can definitely physically compete at this level now. It's just whether can he make that step up and become a Man United player. But from what I've seen, from what everyone says about him, he can definitely do that technically.
The only way to find out is after the season to bring him back. I think he's earned his chance in the first team.
Absolutely.
So getting back there, you can see him with his Man of the Match award, and he's sorted his Barnet out as well. He's always had a bit of a drastic Barnet at times, hasn't he, Jimmy Garner? I mean, I can't say anything about anyone's Barnet. I've not had since the 90s, but no, he's looking good there, winning games or winning Man of the Match awards. Absolutely being lauded by pundits and by Forest fans, as you said, comparing him to Sergio Busquets. So not much to live up to there. No. But if he can come back next season and do anything for us, play any part, then that'd be a massive bonus for Manchester United. And people, listen, if we don't sign a midfielder and Jimmy Garner does come in, people just remember that it's not his fault we didn't sign a midfielder. No. People don't, take it out on him. He's obviously a supremely talented young player. Absolutely.
Moving on from that, we have Ethan Laird, who's been on loan at MK Dons. There was the big thing about Ethan Laird. We talked about it last time I was on here. The big thing is fitness. Keep him fit. Don't do anything like that. And I saw a tweet this week. Ethan Laird goes off with injury, and this was in the Plymouth game last week. He said he came off with an hour with a shoulder injury, and like I said, that's been the worry. Is this it again? Is this another injury for Ethan Laird? Is this going to be, he's had a bit of a run at MK Dons. Is that it? The manager spoke about him and said he gets kicked a lot because of the threat. He's taken some really physical treatment the last couple of games, and he landed on his shoulder. He said he's quick enough with one arm than most players are with 2 arms, kind of thing. He just said he's that good. He said he came off, he got strapped up by Simon Crampton. It kept him going for a bit, but he came off after an hour, and everyone's still a bit worried about him. But he started against the win against Burton Albion this weekend, so good to see him back straight away. There was no layoff for Ethan Laird. He got an assist in the second half of the game, but it wasn't the traditional cross or pass or anything like that. Winning a second ball in the box, knocks it onto the lad, he finishes it with a second header, which for a right back, it's not bad to go in. It's something different. He's got that physical element that I think everyone said. And
he's a bit of a wing back there, isn't he? For them.
He is.
Are you right? He is a right back. I'm not arguing that point with you. But I know they almost use him as a winger at times or a wing back because he's obviously fantastic going forward. Couldn't agree with you more. The only issue you've got with him, Laird, it's not talent or ability. He's got it. It's fitness. He's had so many little injuries and some more serious ones as well. And you worry, don't you, when it's a kid? And I still class them as kids. 17, 18, picking up those knocks. You need him to be getting consistent running. It looks like he's doing that.
He does. And I think that we've looked at Wan-Bissaka, and I think that Ollie has definitely said that he wants another type of fullback. You've seen the links with Trippier, with Max Aarons and things like that. I think that he's still got in mind Delo and Laird as potentially one of them could be the one that comes back and competes. I think that Laird, out of everyone, looks the more well-rounded. Looks like he can do the defensive work as well as going forward. It wasn't all great for him in that game. He gave away a penalty at 2-0.
Well, I've not seen it, but I know for a fact it was a dive.
It was a dive, yeah. We'll
disgraceful officiating.
But they still won 2-1. He came after 75 minutes. I said a little bit of protection around his shoulder, but I do think there's a possibility that he's the one that comes back and pushes Wan-Bissaka. And I think this is what we want to see at Manchester United. For as much as we want to see big signings and stuff, if it's bringing someone in to be a backup or to push a player that we're not too worried about, you'd much rather it be someone coming through. I mean, well, it saves a lot of money, which the Glazers are going to be happy with, and it's good to see youth players coming through at Man United, isn't it?
It is, and we've seen it, with Luke Shaw.
Yeah.
Alex Tellers comes in and it either gives him a bit of a breather or a bit of a motivation or a bit of a reminder that you've not got it all your own way.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation may be. And we've seen the best football from Luke Shaw, I think, since he got injured in the Champions League years ago.
Absolutely. And it's more confidence for Luke Shaw. The confidence is lifted up with Luke Shaw. It's got to a point now where there's no question marks over him. He's just like, I'm here, I'm playing, and that's it, done. You know? There was question marks at the weekend why he wasn't starting, and that was one of the big things going forward that we're missing. That if you look back 12 months ago, no one was saying that about Luke Shaw at all.
It was under Jose. I remember was it Brighton when it was snowing? I think it was in the FA Cup. The only change he made was he took Luke Shaw off for Ashley Young because he wanted to win the game, and he sort of singled him out as like he's the reason.
So it's madness. It just shows what bringing someone in, pushing that person can do. So hopefully we get Ethan Laird back next year. He stays fit and can push Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and between them, we've got a decent right back there, I think.
Sounds like we're getting options. We're getting options.
We are. The next one. The next one, we've got Ted and Mengi, another one on loan. He's at Derby.
That's a lovely photo.
He's a lovely photo.
Look at that.
He's dead happy to be there.
Stick that on your mantelpiece. That'll make everyone smile.
He is dead happy to be there. Obviously managed by Wayne Rooney.
Never heard of him, mate.
Never heard of him. He's started to get a better run in the team, playing a lot more 90 minutes. Since this was last done, he's played 2 games. He got brought on at half-time, and they kind of changed the system against Brentford. They went from this back 4 to a back 3. He became into the back 3. They were 2-0 down. They drew 2-2. So
that's all you need to know.
Ted and Mengi coming on and doing that.
Difference.
They then didn't have the best game. They lost 1-0 to Stoke at the week, but he played 90 minutes in this kind of back 3 system. So it's looking like that Rooney and Derby have figured out that Mengi needs to play. They're going to play this back 3, and I think that could be the way forward for Derby. So he might get a very good run in the team for the rest of the year. They got beat 1-0, but most of the reports coming out was he's the one that had the very good performances. He was the standout player for Derby on that day. So more good signs for Manchester United. And also last week, there was new contracts for Medbury, Alanga and Ted and Mengi all signed up to new deals.
Positive to see youngsters getting a new deal.
Yeah.
And I know people sort of go, well, we want signings for, but they're not mutually exclusive. You can have new signings and keep the youngsters, keep all the youngsters, keep all of. Because let's not forget, it wasn't that long ago that Angel Gomez, who everyone was raving about, didn't sign a new deal and moved on. And we were all a bit like, wow, some of us didn't see that coming. Although Dave Pritt, to his credit, did. And we were a bit like, this is worrying sign if we can't keep hold of some of these youngsters. So it's great that they are signing deals and staying at the club for a little bit longer.
It is one of them with Ted and Mengi. Centre-half is a tough one. To come in at 18, 19 and play first-team football, however good you are, is tough. You even look at De Ligt gone from Ajax to Juventus and has hardly played. I mean, he's got a lot of very good talented players ahead of him, but it's tough for someone 19, 20 years old.
Because he was being raved about, wasn't he?
To come in and be one of the best players. It's a very, very tough thing to do. So to get a centre-half to come in and play first-team football is tough. It's good to see him playing at the Championship level. We spoke about that level's getting closer and closer. And if you are doing any kind of competing at that level, you're not far away from the Premier League. So Mengi doing that is a very, very good sign for Manchester United. Again, another position we're going to be talking about in the summer, centre-halves and things like that. I do think we need to strengthen anyway, but it's good that we've got someone from the youth team that could step up eventually, maybe fill that gap in 3, 4, 5 years' time.
It's weird, isn't it? Because when Axel went to Villa, Axel Tuanzebe, he had a stormer, didn't he, in the Championship. And everyone thought, myself included, he's going to come back now and he's going to have a chance in the first team. And he just kept getting injured and it's just not really panned out of it. But hopefully that will happen to Meng. And you're right, it's a good it's a good measurement or barometer of how sort of ready you are to make the grade, because the Championship as a teenager is a tough sort of competition, tough league to be in. And if you can handle that, then you can definitely come back and at least be in the conversation of starting for Manchester United. So hopefully Ted and Mengi can do that in future.
He can, and we're going to move on now to Facundo Pellistri.
Pellistri,
who obviously got signed this summer, but then got loaned out into Deportivo Alaves. Started to play a few more games. He started the last 3 games for Alaves, looking a bit more like getting some minutes under his belt, which he wasn't getting at first. There was obviously calls at the start of the season, get him in the team, he's got to play.
Yeah.
Like, calm that down a little bit. But he played 90 minutes against Atletico Madrid this weekend. They won 1-0 Atletico Madrid. But
they are top, aren't they?
They are top of league, and Alves doing okay, mid-table.
Yeah.
Not doing great. He completed 4 successful dribbles.
All this drivel.
The highest of any Alves player, and was only bettered by Yannick Carrasco of Atletico Madrid. He was only one of 3 Alves players to land a shot on target, and from what got said online, he had a very, very good performance against a good Atletico Madrid team. So he's starting to look...
Isn't Luis Suarez been reaching out to him?
Both of them play for Uruguay, obviously, and there was a picture of the two of them together, and they put it on Instagram saying good luck and all that in the future, and he reshared it and stuff. I'm sure he got a bit
I can't blame Palestra. It's not his fault.
No.
But, someone should have a word with him and say, listen, we don't do that. We don't associate with Luis Suarez. I don't care how Uruguayan you are. He's scum. Anymore.
But, again, a lot of rave reviews about him in that performance, and he's looking more and more like playing at that kind of level again is a great thing to show. If he is starting to impose himself on them teams, it is good, and it's better, like we mentioned, than playing for under 23 football. It's a better it's a better barometer.
No,
it's a better thing
La
to
Liga, come on.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's a decent standard.
No disrespect to the lads down in the under 23s league, but La Liga is a bit of a cut above.
So it'll be wait to see what happens next summer. Whether he comes back in and potentially pushes it, for that, mentioned it again. Are we going to get a right wing player next summer?
Don't.
Are we?
Can you imagine the absolute meltdown if we don't? And it's like, well, we've got Palestra, we've got Diallo. We don't need another midfielder. We've got Jimmy Garner. People aren't going to lose their minds, probably including me.
But there's a good chance that these guys have been the ones knocking on the door for next season. And the more he plays for them, the better. More good performances like that. I don't see him staying out alone next year. I think he'll probably come back and potentially try and get a run in the United team, or at least a couple more appearances.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so.
And maybe play English football a bit, because again, maybe drop down to the Championship and play there as well. I think getting some games is probably the priority, but dropping down to the Championship, maybe a bit more physicality than the Liga, and see how that goes. That might be the option for Palestra next year. And finally, the one we've got to mention, the other youngster, Jesse Lingardinho.
Listen. He's from the academy. He's on loan. This is academy/loan review, or academy review/loan watch. Obviously, we're going to talk about 28-year-old Jesse Lingard. Yeah.
Same age as me.
Same age as you now, or you're going to be?
We're going to be. I think he's like a month older than me.
Right. So, you never know. Keep
That's
practicing.
You never know. I might get a loan to West Ham.
Exactly. David Moyes in charge. Stranger things have happened. We're mentioning Jesse, a bit tongue-in-cheek, but doing very well.
Some goal against Arsenal,
I asked Howson and McCullough this on the podcast we did on Monday night, and I'll ask you as well. Do you think that he could force his way back into Manchester United's team? Because the sort of common thinking is, no matter how well he does at West Ham, he's more or less just getting himself a loan move. That's a permanent move, sorry. That's what's going to happen there. But if he was to get silly amount of goals before the end of the season, do you think there's a chance?
I think if it is a silly amount, you think United would be daft to get rid of him, especially whether we get them signings or not. If you've got someone there that has the confidence of Jesse Lingard this season, maybe if he goes and he could potentially, he's in England squad now, goes away to the Euros and does well this summer, you've got to keep him around. If he's scoring goals, if he's doing it, where he fits in, I don't know. Whether he could go on the right-hand side, he's not going to replace Bruno Fernandes. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Nope.
But could he fit into this system some kind of way? Could he do a job? He's done a job under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Do you know what the weird thing is? He's he's the type of player that should work in this system that Ole's trying to play. Mm-hmm. He should, with his energy and the way he's always showing for the ball and how good he can be on the ball.
But he has worked in this system.
I know, and it's now you think that would be ideal, but we can't ignore the fact his form fell off a cliff.
It did, and I think that he was all confidence. Yeah. And this has lifted it, and it depends where Jesse sees it. I think if he says, look, I'll come back and play a bit part, my confidence is higher, maybe have a few better performances, it maybe happens, but he might just think, you know what, a club like West Ham, he's happy there, scoring goals, things are going well, I'm going to play every week. He's almost the star man at West Ham. He's the best player there at the minute. He looks good. He didn't just score at the weekend. He was switched on enough to get that assist for the Bowen goal where, the ball was dead and he just played that early free kick and they scored that goal. Love goals like that. That's, someone to be switched on and play that. Quality from Jesse Lingard. maybe he just stays there and he's enjoying it. And I think that United fans wouldn't be too disappointed with that if he just stayed there and enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Just talk about
I get what you mean.
Whether he's going to be make weight for a Declan Rice deal or something like that. And
the sort of numbers being bandied about, though, it's like Jesse's, 15, 20 mil, and then Rice is like 90. Don't think so. I know Rice is a youngster and Jesse's obviously 28 or whatever. But, how do you get England internationals in the peak of the career for anything less than 30, 40 million nowadays? And I know he's not played a lot of football over the last couple of years, but Jesse Lingard is obviously a massive player for them. He's obviously, looks after himself as well. You're going to get 3 years out of him at least. Yeah. So I don't want to get this sort of 15, 20 million price tag. It doesn't make any sense for me. But, like you were saying, as a United fan, because I've got that sentiment with him and because it was horrible to see how badly he was playing for United, part of me just thinks maybe it's best he moves on and he deserves that move, if you know what I mean, rather than coming back to Old Trafford and maybe it doesn't work out, maybe he reverts back to the poor Jesse Lingard that we saw, because we all love Jesse, don't we? So we'll wait and see anyway, but it's great to see him playing well, and it was just, it had a bit of everything that game. It was almost comical, wasn't it, the way that he capitulated.
It actually worked out well for us in the end. Yeah. For as much as it was great laughing at Arsenal for the first half, which we definitely did all the way through the show and watching it before. It did work out as well, because West Ham are the closest to us in terms of top four stuff. They're the ones pushing us. The level on points with Chelsea now, I think we're 6 points ahead, something like that, 6 or 7, or maybe even more than that. I think it's 8 points ahead. So that's a decent gap ahead of them. So, look, wasn't too disappointed with the result in the end. It saw Jesse Lingard play well, which is great. I'm sure there's the way him playing well is not a bad thing for Man United. What it shows is either he's going to come back and do well, or his price tag is going to come up. Ollie's going to keep saying he's coming back, because he's not just going, you're having him anyway, whether you pay us 5 or 10 million, whatever. He has to say he's coming back, but I think he'll probably end up at West Ham.
Yes, he might end up at West Ham, but either way, we'll keep you posted as always. Baggers, that was fantastic there. In-depth analysis of all the loanees. I'm proud of you there. You've done well. You love him watching the Championship.
I love watching the Championship. It's better than watching the Premier League, isn't it? Can't be watching that every week, or the FA Cup. That's no good to watch. Can't be doing that.
It is.
Championship, much better.
Where can people find you?
Baggers _Alex, and go and follow Dave Pritt. He's the one that knows more about the Academy stuff.
Never mind about that, but Baggers, get my words out, Baggers _Alex.
Yeah.
And make sure you wish him happy birthday, because when's your birthday?
Tomorrow.
So Wednesday the 24th of March. How many candles is it?
28.
28? Yeah. So check out our socials as well, because we'll be giving him a bit of a socially distanced birthday treat. But yeah, go and check him out.
I've done well there. I've managed to get 2 birthdays in lockdown. Not many people are going to get that. It was today, last year, got put in lockdown, 23rd of March, and it's still in now. So it's great.
Mate, do you know what? You've had all the luck there, haven't you, mate?
Yeah.
Well, in my age, I don't even like celebrating my birthday, It was my 28th last week, and I didn't even bother mention it. So make sure you're checking him out. You know where to find me. Also, if you're not doing, have a look at our members section, because you see Baggers often wearing the T-shirts as well. We've got some merchandise on there. We've got a discount for you. You can check out the merchandise anyway. You don't need to be a member for that. But we've also got some extra content. And if you're not checking out the members section, then give us a subscribe anyway. And don't forget to hit like and share as well. I've been Jay Moy. That's been Alex Baggers. This has been the Academy Review /Loan Watch. Thanks for watching.